right, let's dive in and talk about Sheroes. So you play Ezra, and she goes through an interesting character journey. So how would you describe her journey, and how did you get into her character?
I feel like Ezra is kind of like the audience when you walk into the movie. You know, she doesn't understand what happened to her vacation and how it went so awry. And by the end of it, she realizes she's just as badass as her friends, and that she can save the day and she can protect the people that she loves, and she is just as badass as they are. And I've been getting into character, honestly, it was kind of pinpointed. I had short hair at the time, and I got hair extensions and highlights. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror being like, here she is. We found her. It just really changed everything for me, because I'd never had my hair like dyed ever. And it was just so long, and hair extensions make your hair so thick. I was like, I feel like a girl who's been on a TV show for many years and goes to Erewhon every weekend and, spends all of her money on like $17 smoothies. This is great.
Well, I did not realize those were extensions, so you had me fooled.
But well, yes. That's good. They did it. They did a good job. My friend Sierra did the best job.
But that sort of segues into our next question. So Ezra is a more heroic character. Previously, you are well known for playing like just as badass characters, but they're more villainous. Like you're well known for being Esther in the Orphan series. So what is the difference between embodying a hero versus a villain? Were there any challenges, fun things about that?
It was fun. It was really fun. I think also, I don't think that Ezra considers herself a hero until the end, when they finally save Daisy and they save the day. But it is a collaborative effort. And I think the four of them together, kind of like you hear in the movie, they all have something different that they bring to the table. And that's why they're able to do this together. And it's through that like togetherness that they can achieve that. I think being a villain is probably a very solitary life, if you can't tell. Like most villains are just kind of like the villain. And they have like henchmen. I've never had henchmen. Maybe I should work on that. But there's usually other people involved. But heroes usually band together to do something really great. And I think that's a really it was a really fun to look to my left and look to my right and know that I had not only amazing cast and characters that were alongside my character, but I had made like really amazing friends, and we really loved each other and had such a great time making this movie.
Yeah, and the chemistry was definitely there. And I think you make an interesting point about hero. Oh, yeah, for certain. Like you could see how much fun everyone was having throughout the shoot. And it is interesting that you bring out the point that heroes just in general, the social skills that you need to save the day, like villains really at the end of the day are either out for themselves or alone, in some way or form or another. But so that brings me to my next point. Like, were there any particular scenes that you loved to shoot more than others particularly?
I loved doing that dance sequence in the movie. That was like the most preparation I had to do for the film, because I love dancing, but I'm not a particularly great dancer. But thank God for editing, and it looked great. And what I love about that scene is Wallace's moment right after. Kills me every single time.
It was quite the performance between. Yeah, I imagine that must have been something. So what scene was the most physically demanding to shoot? Because most of the characters you've played are very active, action, badass girls. And Ezra's no different, at least especially in the very end. So what was the most physically challenging one for you to shoot?
I think it was that dance scene, to be completely honest. Ezra didn't have as much action, obviously, as Diamond or Ryder. And that's because that's not her special skill. But I did really love that moment in the movie where I got to do that dance. I mean, I felt like my character was really fun. I got to pay homage to so many movies that I've always loved, and like that dance moment, the shirt opening came from a very specific film. The coming out of the bag in the fight club came from Ocean's movies, and like the whole speech on the phone, coming from Taken. I really felt like I get to play with what I loved about action movies that I saw throughout my whole life in this movie, in this one character. And like physically, that dance was honestly the only thing that was the most strenuous for her as a character. And it was because I personally was like, I'm a horrible dancer. Like I have a lot of enthusiasm for dance, but dance is not my strong suit. But we got through it and they edited it and it looks great now.
I mean, it certainly was convincing, especially for given the context of the scene.
Exactly.
But I think it's also interesting you mentioned referencing all these other movies because your character is an actress within the story. Like she was an actress. So I think that makes perfect sense. I think that's what sold your performance, this sort of meta approach.
Yeah, it was fun to play with. And also even shooting that little like vignette at the beginning in the set with the bank and the whole thing was just so fun because it was like, oh, I was like, Jordan, what if I give her an accent? I was like, we've been talking, that was the last day of filming and we've been talking about it and laughing about it. And Wallace and I had gone back and forth. We're like, maybe Dirty Mary's British. And then it's like, she can't be British. Maybe we make her like Southern. And so I was like, okay. And it was just this really fun sort of thing to like, step into a set on a set and pretend that I'm an actress.
Yes, like setception, right?
Yeah, it really felt very like a t-shirt within a shirt within a shirt. Like, you know, when they have those go on and on.
Or the endless reflections, you know, when the mirror reflects a mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So what did you love most about Sheroes, just as a movie and also for shooting it? Like, what do you love about Sheroes? Being in it, watching it?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, when I saw the movie, I saw what you saw, which was all the chemistry that we have. And I was in theater just smiling, thinking like, yeah, we actually had this much fun together. And the fact that it translates on screen, I think people will see this movie and have so much fun watching it too. So that was a big thing for me about it that I really was excited about. And I also just love the message of like, you can be your own hero. You know, you can save the day. Not everybody has the same skills, but everyone's got their talents and you can do amazing things, especially with people that you love. And it really is these four girls. It's, you know, the three of them, Ryder, Diamond, Ezra, who come together and because of their love being so powerful, get their best friend back and save the day. And then the four of them save the day together.
I mean, that was one of the most fun things about the film, seeing the obvious chemistry and also it being sort of a classic hero's journey, especially with your character, because I think she undergoes like the most development.
Yeah. You know, I also really played with that a lot and Jordan gave me a lot of freedom to improv, which I think like a lot of the jokes that I made in the movie were things that I just kind of said. And I'm really glad that he kept them in because I think it added to the story in a way that wasn't necessarily on the page, where it gave you permission to laugh at what's going on a little bit.
I think if this particular story is just ripe for improv, you know, I think it just added to the authenticity of it all. Well, this has been excellent. I think that's about it. So, you know what, Sheroes, excellent film, and I'm looking forward to seeing it on the big screen. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, have a really good day.